Welcome to Cackling in the Void.
I'm Ashley.
And I'm Kaylee.
Let's see if the void echoes back today.
We are two best friends diving deeper into the void of Sarah J. Maas's series of The Throne of Glass with Queen of Shadows. Bum, bum, bum.
I'm so glad you said the title because I forgot. I was desperately scrolling to see what it was.
Yes. We are on the Queen of Shadows. It is the not the long I don't think it's the longest book in the series.
No,
but
the last book
definitely a hefty book. I think sitting at 89 chapters. So like we are really deep in it. I
the
will
last
admit
book
I
is 121 chapters. So
that's why it's fine. So there is something about the audiobook that I think like grants you a little bit of like mental stability and fortitude when listening to really long, lengthy books, because sometimes you'll kind of like blot out when the narrator is like chapter blah blah blah, or sometimes in audio, and sometimes in the audiobooks they don't do that. They don't like sometimes
they always
like they
say
don't
the
like
chapter.
it depends on like certain things. And honestly, I'm gonna be real honest, I black it out. Like I feel like
can't
that
tell
is just
you.
like
that's why
me.
It's like
And
when we're talking about it, I'm never like, oh, this chapter, blah blah. I have to like
yes.
go check and see what chapter. I'm like, I'm at this part, not I'm on this chapter.
Yes, and I think like that's the thing is like I feel like once again the audiobook grants you a little bit of mental fortitude to keep going on, because you don't realize how far along.
And it's also, I will say, one thing that I guess like is kind of like inconvenient of like an audiobook in that sense is like I think people are able to like remember what chapter they're on, because like when you finish it, like when you're reading it, you see what the next chapter is, and so you can kind of clock, I just read this one. Also, I will say one thing that is kind of nice about like a regular book that I wish we could do with an audiobook, but it's impossible, is being able to like quickly like glance at see what just happened in the chapter. And you can't glance in an audiobook. Like you can speed it up, but still then you have to like really focus, because I feel like listening glancing is very different than reading glancing, because reading you could just go boom, 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 boom. Now granted, does that always work? No, but you know,
I think for
listening you have to like
I
really
think that it works for people that are not dyslexic. I think that it works for them.
Listening?
Like the skimming really fast.
Oh,
that. Yeah. I think it works for those people.
Yeah.
I think it really works for them.
If I'm having a good day, it sometimes works.
Yeah. Hey, like sometimes we're just here for it, and there it is.
And I'm like, wow. I know I was reading something the other day, and I read it beautifully, and I was like, wow, where is this every day? And then I got really sad.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
It happens. It's a learning thing. Unfortunately, it never goes away. It's very unfortunate. I kind of hate that.
It's very sad.
But it's okay. Anyway, back to the Queen of Shadows. We're opening this book up with
Dorian's head. I mean,
yes. Dorian's lover
was beheaded.
Yes. I forgot her name. I'm really sorry, guys. Was
Sorsha.
There it is. Sorsha was beheaded, and
now Dorian has a collar on, and there's a Valg in his head.
Yes, that is correct. Now Dorian.
I will say, what do you think of Dorian's like journey in this book?
Mental battle. I enjoyed it, and I call it a mental battle because it was literally inside of himself the whole time. Like his like fight, quote unquote, in this book wasn't like a real physical fight until we get like way to the end of this book. It was definitely like that mental fortitude like fight. I I enjoyed it. I think Dorian is okay.
Yeah.
I think he gets more emotionally intelligent as the book goes on, but like slightly not any, but doesn't get any more intelligent about anything else, I feel. Like it doesn't.
In this book or in the next, like in the series?
Maybe in the series.
Okay.
Like he's okay. Like he's just like not. I just feel like me. Dorian is okay. He's decent. He's fine. I think that he might have like the most growth out of all of the males in terms of trajectory,
Yeah.
but I still find like I think it's just so interesting because Sarah J. Maas loves to write moody boys.
I feel like it's a big book talk thing, though.
I was like, am I wrong?
No, it's a big book talk thing.
I was like, you know, they're all moody
like, we have
boys.
Our emo dragon boy. We have our emo ice boy.
Shadow dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's like a shadow winged fae dude in the other one. And then
why am I dumb? He has wings.
Yeah, in ACOTAR they definitely have wings.
Oh,
because remember
I was thinking of Beguiled.
Oh no, Beguiled. Beguiled. We have the broody twins. I loved the twins.
The twins were good.
I loved them. I honestly cannot wait until we start the next book.
It's gonna be good.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I am so excited for that to like be what I'm reading. I am so beyond excited. Anyway, back to Queen of Shadows. Sarah J. Maas likes to write moody boys, and I think Dorian is okay, and I think Dorian is good in what he does, I guess, for the book.
Yeah.
But yes. Anyway, moving on.
I love that.
How do you feel about his mental struggles?
I like it in the sense of like it could be taken possibly as like suicidal ideations eventually because he just starts like he's fighting and then he just gives up and he's like, you know, in certain parts at a certain point where it's like, because like not the entire thing. I'm not saying the entire thing, but once he gives up, it's like, okay, buddy, are you okay? Obviously, he's not okay. But to me, it is a just, you know, battle of like, I don't want this thing inside of my head, and now I'm here and I'm seeing through his eyes, through my eyes, and it's weird type thing, you know? And so I think that's interesting in him like having to fight in his own head to get this thing out of his head. I think it's I think it's an interesting dynamic that we haven't seen in another book.
That's true.
So I like that.
Yeah, we have not seen that in any of the books that we've covered on the podcast. Yes, we have not.
Yeah.
There is some in one of my favorite series in the Five Crowns of Oakrith.
Yes.
There is some really shameless plug right here. Everybody should go listen to or read the Five Crowns of Oakrith by I think it's A.K. Mumford. Phenomenal, spectacular. Please go read it. One of the better, most top ranked, should be one of the top ranked like fantasy romantasy starter series ever. Period. Okay.
It's very good.
Yeah, sorry, back to your regular scheduled programming.
So we start off in his head and you know, but I also think what I kind of liked about the dynamic is like he's there And like, I'm so sorry. My watch started very like aggressively vibrating, and I didn't know what was happening, and it wouldn't stop. Um, the like he's there, and he's like, I see him like himself in his brain, but yet he's like not like able to remember. Like the Vogue has taken over some of his memories, so he's like he knows like that this isn't him, but he doesn't know what his own name is. He doesn't know what these memories are. He remembers some things, but not all things. You know, like so I think that's interesting.
Yeah. Like,
and then
like the idea of like losing all sense of self.
Yeah.
Within like this like alter ego is very interesting.
Yeah. And then so we go to Aelin, who is in the vaults trying to find Arobin, and because he has a meeting there.
Yeah.
And
with Chaol.
Yeah.
And Chaol doesn't recognize her because she dyed her hair. She did. She dyed her hair.
No, I know that. It's just funny how he couldn't recognize her because of a different hair color and not like her face is similar. It's okay. And he claims it's okay.
Don't worry. He loved her.
Yes. He still loves her, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. And like the beginning of the book, he's like, I still kind of like her. And I'm like, bro.
It's okay to move on, I promise. Anyway, so she noticed that there's like a lot of black like uniformed guards roaming the city, Yes. And so she dyed her hair, like you said, in disguise, and she like was kind of like, oh, like I miss Rowan, and I wish, and like she no longer has her magic. Also, now that she's back in here town,
Rifthold.
Thank you. I went through, I think, 5 different titles, and I was like, these are all wrong.
You're okay. You're okay. I was like, there's a lot of places in this book.
I went through other books, too.
I think this book, out of all of the other books, has the most places so far.
Oh, for
like, her series.
Yeah, because at least in ACOTAR, there's courts, and it's just the courts. And then the mortal realm. Whereas in this one, it's like, you're actually kind of getting into, like, the big... Yeah, and then I know that in Crescent City, there's 4 cities.
Yeah. So.
Or whatever. And this is also like the first time that Arobin and Celeana, whatever,
have seen each other.
Been face to face.
Since
in a long time. Since they went to
Endover in the salt mines.
Not jail. The salt mines.
Jail.
Jail.
I mean, technically, yeah, it's a large prison. It's a jail, like, you know.
Yeah. Where
you could call
slaves are put to work.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Arobin is like, oh my gosh, I knew that you had powers. And we're like, no, shit.
Well, yeah, obviously. And like, it's so interesting because like this whole interaction, he's like,
he got our powers back. But also he's like, I knew you had powers and I know you got them back.
Well, yeah, because like getting them back in like a place where magic is like around. Like, she doesn't have her powers right now.
Yeah. Yep. And then like he's like, oh yeah, Aelin has been arrested because Aelin was arrested at the end of last book, and he's armed for treason, or like he's been arrested for treason against the king, and he's going to be executed in 3 days by the king, or at least the king will be there on Dorian's birthday. Which,
hell yeah,
wild birthday present, sir.
Yeah, it was a happy birthday.
And Arobin's like, hey, like, this is like a very clear trap for you. Maybe this isn't the best idea. And Aelin's like, no.
We still gotta go save him, though.
I'm still gonna go save him. And Arobin's like, oh, like, let me help. Like, I have resources. And, like, for a favor, I'll help you. And Arobin like knows the new King's Guard's creatures like wear bodies of men, so they're at least aware of like these Vogue that are like infiltrating people.
Yeah, and like because Celeana does ask him outright, like,
and
why
he wants
was
to know what they are.
even meeting you?
Yeah,
and he was like, well, he's helping me dispatch these, men-like creatures, but he won't tell me what it is. So, like, what is it, Celeana? And she's like, well, I don't have to tell you because I don't owe you dick. I
Mm-hmm.
hate you, you dumb bitch. And then she's like, oh, by the way, you should train your men better because there's this one, this one, this one, and this one that I can see. And he's like, oh, yeah, you think so? Maybe you should come over and do a little lesson. And then she's like, maybe I will. That's what she said. She's like,
No, you're
I
not
don't know.
wrong.
Maybe I will.
Yeah.
And then,
she then is like attacked by like 20 men.
yeah.
Right? Like they go into the attack of like, yeah, just casually attacked by 20 men. And she like escapes into the sewers after like she's kind of like made them kind of go into chaos. And she then meets Kael's like female guard, and that was Nesrin.
So that's kind of like the mission in the beginning of the book is that, we're number one, Arobin is trying to figure out who the Volg are and what the Volg are. We see Kael now like leading a group of men resisting the Volg and the King's Guard because he's no longer working for the king, and he is terribly haunted by the idea that he isn't a loyal person. And we meet Nesrin, his secret girlfriend, who's not really his girlfriend, who's kind of just like they're situationships. They're like fuck buddies.
I was trying to say they're fuck buddies.
They're definitely fuck buddies because I feel like Nesrin is like a little bit like less like lovey towards him, especially in this book. But here's the thing is like she's definitely not lovey towards him like in public, but behind closed doors, like we see that like a little bit like later on.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where we see that happening. We also see that Lysandra has now been reintroduced, and we met her in Assassin's Blade. If everybody remembers, she is the courtesan that Celeana is horribly jealous of because she's pretty and she wasn't, I guess, sold into slavery like that. But I'm sorry. It's one of it's literally I'm going to say it, and I'm going to just rant about it now because I'm going to rant about it later. It is one of my biggest fucking pet peeves of this entire goddamn book.
No, I agree.
It irks me to my fucking core about how much Aelin was like, I hate her. I hate Lysandra because she's so pretty and her boobs are so perfect and she's just so hot. And like, I hate that Arobin chose me to become an assassin instead of being sold into sex slavery. And Lysandra's sitting over here being like, bitch, I would literally murder everybody than ever sell my body again. To have anybody touch me unwarranted is uncalled for, and I would rather slit throats than this happen to literally anybody. And Aelin sitting over here being like, I don't know, it might be fun. And I'm like, this dumb bitch. I'm sorry.
No, I agree.
It really...
I agree.
Sorry. I know that was a lot, and that was like really... I know that people are going to have a big opinions about my opinion about that. But it's one of those things...
Like, playing the side where it's like she was clearly also very jealous of the attention that Arobin was giving Lysandra, and very much like, like now instead of me just getting gifts, she's also getting gifts. Instead of me going to the plays, she's going to the plays. Instead of this, she's getting this. And so it goes and also like that part of it. But it's the way, like you said, like the way she's like, oh, like how dare she's getting this because she's pretty and she's getting this because of this, where it's like, no. She's getting this because that's
her job, and this actually is literally paying for her.
Yeah. And
like,
so like
we find out that like literally, like, I mean, in Assassin's Blade, Arobin uses the money that Celeana like gave him to like, buy her freedom to buy Lysandra, to buy her virginity. So like let's be real honest about like what this fucking is. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I think like that's the thing that really just bothers me. And like, listen, I know that they're all young, and I know that they're all young in this book. And here's the thing: is there's nothing wrong with sex work if that is what you choose to do and that's what you would like to do, especially now when we're speaking in like real terms in 2026. Fuck it, do whatever you want. I don't care. But if you are forced into that, that's a whole other situation that needs to be addressed, that needs to be talked about, that needs to like, you know, obviously like, you know, be addressed.
Yes.
And here in this book, we're like openly seeing that she was sold into this, and like we're still seeing this type of like jealousy. And it really does come from the idea of like Lysandra was just really pretty.
Yeah.
Lysandra was just really pretty. And then it comes out, you know, obviously later on in this book where like she's a shapeshifter, and she's like, yeah, like I would honestly really rather like live as an animal and never be like never be around civilization. But the only reason why I'm going to is because like I love my friends and I love the people that I've chosen to be my family, because I have nothing.
Yeah. And we also like, you know, it comes out like because she is a shapeshifter, she doesn't remember what she really looks like. Like she put together how she looks to be a perfect model for that type of work, you know?
Exactly. Like, because like she was like, oh, because, you know, even Aelin asks her like, oh, would you not like miss the luxuries of what being a human entails? Like, would you not mix like the jewels and the dresses and like the soft beds and the chaise and the lounges and the plays and all this stuff? And like Sandra openly is like, of course I would. But here's the thing is my home isn't where these material things are. My home is with the people that I have chosen to love and to hold dear to me.
And Aelin doesn't get that because she...
I agree.
She doesn't get that. And because also, Arobin did keep her away from everybody. She wasn't really given the chance to create a family for herself and like create friends and a family and things like that. So when she gets her apartment, she's like, oh, I need all of these material things to make it home. Not quite realizing it's the people that make it the home. And so there's just a
but it wasn't until Sam came in
that
she was like starting to believe that. But then it's once again really interesting. It's interesting once again, and I understand that we're reading like a heterosexual book that like, you know, obviously Aelin's perspective doesn't change until a man comes in. And I think that is something that I do have a large contention about most of the time.
Yeah.
But, you know, we also get to like see Manon and Aelin and everybody like kind of interact now. In this book. I know that we're like obviously skipping a lot around, but this is a hefty book, so this isn't going to be a chapter by chapter review, guys. I don't think we could do it.
Yeah, like, I mean, there are 88 chapters.
We definitely could, but we would be sitting here for like 8 hours, and I don't think anybody wants to hear our voice for that long. Actually, you know what? That's a lie. I think there are some people out there that do. And I love that for all of you guys. I don't think I want to hear my voice for 8 hours.
Yeah. That's so fair.
I think that's the difference.
And I was going to say, I don't know if Kaylee wants to hear my voice for 8 hours, but yet we talk on the phone for about 8 hours a day.
I can hear Ashley's voice for 8 hours.
I can hear your voice for 8 hours. I don't want to hear my voice for 8 hours.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But, you know, then we also do see Kale and Celeana talk.
Yes.
Like, actually talk for the first time since the Nehemia thing. Besides for her telling him a date at the end of that book. And, you know, he is very much, I mean, she's still very much just like, I can't forgive you. Like, you... Yeah. Like, I can't forgive your part
one of my friends.
You murdered one of my friends. And I know that there's an argument to saying, no, like, this was totally not his fault. And I'm like, no. So, okay, but here... I have a proposition for you to make. No, that was the wrong wording, but that's okay. I have something I need you all to keep inside your head for a second. We have talked, especially like when we do like our Reddit stories, and I think we've talked about it more. No, we have talked about it in books and stuff too. But on our Wednesday episodes, but where we kind of talked about, like, it's not the cheating. I mean, cheating is bad, but it's not cheating that is what's wrong now. It's the broken trust. It's
Yeah.
you broke the trust. You lied for however long. Blah, blah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if
it's the lack of communication that's
it's
the
the
issue.
lack of communication.
That's the really
exactly.
is the biggest
and so,
issue here.
The lack of communication around that situation, no matter, even if, like, because he didn't kill Nehemia. So in that sense, he did not kill her. Physically, he did not kill her. But he knew, you know what I mean? Like, he could have voiced what was going on, and so this could have been avoided. But the fact of the matter that he wasn't the one that killed her physically with a knife, or however, you know, it doesn't matter, because that trust between them was quite literally shattered.
Yeah.
Her not being, like, her still being really hung up on it makes sense. Her having a really hard time getting past it makes sense, because in her mind, she's like, hey, even if you weren't the one that physically killed her, you still played a part in this. And that was like because that was, since Sam, her first real friend.
Yeah.
And so, and it's her first real female friend that she's ever had.
Yeah, that she's ever had, yeah.
You know, and first, like, positive, her age, female dynamic she's ever had. And so, you're not going to be able to get over that right away. Like, or ever. And even if you're able to, like, get to the point where, like, you can forgive them, like, if you can get to that point, you're not going to forget it. You could put the plate back together, but it's still going to be missing pieces, and it's still going to be cracked. You know? And so, that's my 2 cents. It's the trust that is shattered, not the act.
Yeah, and then also, like, we also see that, like, you know, Chaol just is so fearful of who Aelin really is. He's, like, so fearful of, like, her power that she has, and how she's, like, and even, like, there's sometimes, like, where they do interact where he's like, oh, I realize that I'm no longer talking to the would-be assassin Celeana. I am talking to, like, this fierce warrior queen. And I'm like, I think that that's what is the other reason is, like, yes, of course, her perspective and her, like, title has changed, but you're not treating her like a human being anymore. You're treating her as, like, something else, which is putting obvious, like, strain on their relationship. Also love the fact that Nesrin is, like, around just hearing them bicker and argue through, like, half of the book.
I do. Yes.
Like, Nesrin's just like, okay. But then also, like, I'm going to say it, I think that it's really, like, Nesrin openly was like, hey, Celeana, do you and, like, Chaol, like, are you guys, like, what's going on there? Are you guys still like each other? Or, like, what's happening? And Celeana's like, absolutely not. I don't like him. But then she, like, goes and she asks Chaol, and he's like, it's complicated. Bitch, what do you mean it's complicated? It's not that complicated. Like, me, I'm like, what do you mean? It's really not that complicated, because it does seem like you've been sharing a bed with Nesrin for a fucking long time. Just to, like, say it. Like, and it's not that, once again, they're also, like, very much.
I don't think Aelin is going to care at this point.
No. But it's also, like, the idea of, it's like I just feel like Chaol kind of hangs on to these relationships that, like, aren't there anymore.
Yeah.
Like, and I guess, like, that is, like, one of the, like, the big character things that I don't understand, like, why he does that. Where, like, when we see Dorian is, like, only holding on to, like, important ones. Like, Sorcia's, like, a big one. I think, like, the Sorcia is, like, one of those ones where you're like, yeah, that's valid that you're hanging on to that. But he's not hanging on to Aelin. He's not hanging on to, like, what they had when she was Celeana.
No. And even in, the, second book, like, he really distanced himself from her, because he's like, hey, I respect that. I'm going to distance myself, so, like,
for sure,
I can kind of work through that on my own, and I'll come back and we can be friends, and that's fine.
Exactly. And it's just like, I don't know. But then here's the thing: is the one good thing I think that comes out of this book, is the fact that we get to see the witches finally.
Yes.
I love the witches storyline. Do I think it could have ended better? Hell yeah. But, whatever. My opinion is my opinion, and I have a, overall rating of this series, and obviously everybody can tell where I very heavily lean towards
Yes.
in this
But
series.
the witches are so great.
But
I will say also in this book, I will say I do like Lysandra.
Yeah, I like Lysandra and I like the witches for sure.
Yeah.
But so like, in this we do get to see the idea of, we see Manon and her first and her second struggle with the idea of once again basically offering their bodies up to be breeding vessels.
Yeah.
I mean, that is what that is, and
it's like, wasn't their grandmother that was like, oh, you need to do this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it was
So,
Manon's
like,
grandmother that was like, oh, you need to do this. It's for the king. Like, this is important.
Yeah. And it's also one of those things where it's like obviously the second is she's having an issue because she's like, hey, this is wrong. This is wrong. When witches get pregnant, this isn't necessarily a normal pregnancy. This isn't like human women who like, gestate for 9 months and are like, oh, wow, look at my baby. Like, oh, okay. Like witches are like the people who are like, no, this is my baby. And if you come close to me, I'm going to literally gut your fucking like throat out. Like I'm going to just like rip your throat out casually because I felt like it on a Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
Because you looked at me sideways.
Because you looked at my baby.
Yeah. So like, there's like something extremely sacred about like, witches being born and being pregnant within like the witch community, and like the idea that the matriarch wants to basically like have them willingly, freely like give themselves up is just very confusing and goes against a lot of their principles as witches.
Yeah.
And we do see like, some of like the yellow legs offer them up, like themselves up to do this because they're like, this is like the highest honor. We would love to do this. And then we see like later on where a lead goes down there and like looks in and is like, this is not good. They're pleading to get out. Please help us. And Manon is like stuck between like a rock and a hard place where she's like wrestling with her morals of like, do I consider myself a dutiful granddaughter and do what I'm told to do under the rules and guise of being a witch? Or do I do what is morally correct and what I feel like is best for my clan and my family and who I love?
Yeah.
Because like there's multiple mentions where like the second and the third are like, hey, we could just like leave and get the fuck out of here. And I don't think anybody would know.
And then the third is
Sorrel.
Thank you. I was like, it starts with an S.
Yeah. So Astrid and Sorrel are like trying to convince her. So Manon is really having this very big like moral qualm. And so like to the point, like, by the time like Manon and Aelin are fighting, Manon now knows what's going on. She's actually really not okay with it, and it's like, I'm not going to do this. The 13 and I are not going to be those witches. We're not going to
participate in this. Like,
we are now going to remove ourselves. This is not the highest honors
and how we should be going about this.
Because here's the thing is like Manon also recognizes that like if we do this, we'll never see the land that we've been owed. We'll never see that. And that's like one of their biggest goals is to get back onto that land, is to be free, to have their own place to live.
Yeah. But she also does like, at first when she doesn't like agree, she does take Astrid and like make her third. Like she knocks her, like demotes her because she's like, you're fighting against this and how dare you.
Yeah, because it's also like a respect thing, like, hey, like you're not respecting me, you're directly questioning my leadership, and am I not good enough? Am I not a better leader than my grandmother? Like, why would you
Yeah.
not give me unyielding deference to?
Yeah.
And I think like that is like the best part about the 13 is we see Manon actually get challenged by her peers, where in other relationships we really don't see it often. Like as we go out this book, Arobin is murdered by Lysandra.
Yeah. And
Lysandra
Lysander,
does.
like, yeah, like she said, has openly been like, no, I'd rather murder someone than go through what I did. And
Oh yeah,
she was introduced by bringing a girl named oh my god, Evangeline? That was wrong.
Evangeline.
Evangeline. I was like, it blanked. And like Evangeline like tells Aelin was like, hey, yeah, no, like Lysandra is the one that like scarred my face.
Yeah.
And like Sandra was like, yeah, no, because I knew she couldn't have escaped being a courtesan because I tried and I would never want her to go through that too. And so Lysandra was the one that murdered Erwin.
Yeah, Arobin. Because Arobin, was like, hey, let's spend the night together. Because Arobin is like the best paying customer that Lysandra has. And that the brothel
she hasn't left the brothel because of what she did, like because she scarred her face. Yeah, she now has to pay the debt off. The debt off
as like a hand servant to any of the other girls. But she's the hand servant to obviously specifically Lysandra.
Yeah.
We also see that this is a very passionate killing. Lysandra did want to get back at Arobin for killing her beloved Wesley. And it was one of those things where Aelin did not know that any of that was happening. Yeah. Aelin was like, dealing with her own shit, yes. But also just like a little too busy being jealous.
Yeah.
To realize like what was actually happening.
Yeah. And Aelin was like, oh, like I could do this. It's fine. Like I can kill him for you. And she's like, no, I want to do it.
Yeah.
And she uses his own knife under his pillow to kill him, which I was like, that's nice. Mm-hmm. I like that.
I do like that. It was very good. I also think that we see like after that, we see like Aelin like go and like cut off Arobin's head just because they're like, hey, just in case, we don't want him coming back for any reason. And then Aelin inherits all of Arobin's things. Yeah, that's very important.
And she switched the will before he died. Mm-hmm. She went and switched the will because all she was going to get was the necklace, but instead she made him like his only person in the will. So he got
Aelin was the sole heir.
Everything. Yeah. She got the assassin's keep. She got the money. She got everything.
Yeah, and she's willing to sell it back to everybody if they can make the money up in like an hour or two. But
but also I will say Arobin, I think it was this book where Arobin put the ring on her finger, isn't it?
Yes. Oh,
as
yes.
A decoy, but she like made a whole trade where like this is a fake ring and stuff, and I remember that going, oh, okay. But then it was revealed so quickly. I'm like, oh, you should have given us like 3 chapters and it would have been so good.
Well, then we would have been at like 90 chapters.
Cut off some other stuff. Because that would have been interesting.
Yeah, would have been, but it's also like the idea of like would it have actually furthered the story?
That's true. That is true.
And so like, in terms of furthering the story, we're now at the point where Lysandra has revealed to them that she is a shapeshifter because nobody knew. Yeah. And everybody's really shocked because number one, shapeshifters are really rare, but also the king went around slaughtering all of the shapeshifters because of how valuable they were in war times.
Yeah.
So, she is, the only one that she knows of.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, this is it. And also like kind of not like she pledges her allegiance to Aelin.
Yeah. And now they have to go save, like, Aelin from being murdered.
Yes. That is correct.
Yeah. And Aelin disguises herself as, like, one of the dancers because she knew, like, the dance person, like, the instructor,
Yes.
get in. And she, like, is doing the dance and, like, notices, and Aelin, or sorry, Aedian, their names are so similar, like, notice that she
is dancing
and that there's, like, powder all around them. And then it's radioactive stuff and it, like, explodes, or reactive stuff, and it goes off, and then Aelin's like, okay, let's go, and so they leave, but then Dorian ends up following them out, and Aelin's like, hey, like, this is us, like, we're fine, like, and, like, tries to reason with him, but then she's like, no, like, can you give me a sign? And there was no sign. So they escape, and then, Kael's very much like, oh, like, no, he's still in there, we can't give up. And she's like, he's not there. Like, we need to kill him. Like, this is going to be very potentially dangerous for us. And Kael's like, no, like, you can't do that. Like, I need you to promise me that you won't kill him.
And she does. She promises.
She does promise. She does promise not to kill him. And then
they end up saving Aedian.
Yeah, so they're out of the
when they're
castle
saving
now.
Aedian, they're out of the castle, but they're also being chased down, which is where the big fight ensues.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, not the end fight. Not there yet. But they do attempt to talk. They fight Dorian. Yeah, because then Lorcan appears, because, like, Rowan appears, and then they're like,
yeah, you're right.
Why are you here? And then he's like, oh, well, Lorcan is trying to chase you, and he's, like, one of, like, the big, like, killers over there. Like, he is very dangerous. So then, because she owns everything now, she, Aelin owns everything now from Erebin. She now gives a letter, stating her and, Lysandra's release. And she no longer has a debt to pay. We love that. Yeah. We love not having debts to pay for ourselves. Sure. Then Manon then goes, and she actually ends up meeting up with Dorian. And she was able to because throughout the whole book, Dorian's a very side character, not, really there, because he's not there in his own head. And so Manon actually was able to get through to him, and they end up talking, and just a little bit. And then Manon and Aelin end up meeting up, and, like, everything went fine because they, just talking. They met up, and then Manon was gonna let them go because they weren't posing any, like, threat. And then Aelin goes, I'm the one that killed Baba Yellowlegs. And then we all go, why would you say that right now? That makes absolutely no sense. Why would you say that in this moment? Please explain to me. And so then Manon ends up obviously trying to kill her because she was said something dumb in a dumb moment. And then they're fighting, and Manon almost dies, and Aelin decides to save her instead of killing her. And so now Manon's like, God damn it, now I owe this bitch a life debt. And as she's flying away and leaving, she notices that Aelin, and, like, kind of heard that Aelin was going to go and kill Dorian. And, like, kind of heard through the grapevine, like, this whole plan that was happening. Yeah. And that, they were going to go, and Rowan, Lorcan, and Aedian were going to go and destroy a tower so magic could come back. And then Aelin was going to kill the king. And Dorian, if he was there, if she needed. And because he was gone. And so then Manon ends up going back and writing in Vogue Blood, Witch Killer. He is still in there. Like, don't kill him. He is still there. And then they, Aelin ends up, like, covering herself in ward marks to save herself, because, like, from Vogue magic and dark magic and stuff like that. And so then Rowan, Aelin, and Lorcan are all fighting ward hounds and like fighting their way over there, as then Kaol, Nezrin, and Aelin, yes, are going into the castle, and then they meet up, like they see Dorian, and Dorian is like, hey, you're still not there. And so then he
still very much Vogue.
Yeah, and Kaol's like, no, you can't do this, like you can't kill him. And she's like, if I need to. And like, so she ends up running out the window, and Dorian chases her because she's like, ugh, because now at this moment she knows that she was told by someone else other than Kaol, and who's seen it. And it's like, hey, like you could fight this, like you do this, we promise you could do this. And she doesn't quite realize that like Rowan and them are kind of struggling fighting in the moment. And so like the magic hasn't been able to come down yet. And she ends up taking a ring of like the Vogue and like puts it on Dorian's finger and is like, oh, now I control you. So then she makes the Vogue take off the collar. Yeah. And then Dorian is finally free. And then the dad comes because now the tower's been broken. And then the king comes, and this is very skimming through things, but the dad comes, and then Dorian, and he's like also able to like take off the ring. It's like, I was never the bad one. A Vogue took over my body, took over Duke Parrington's body, and we already released Erewhon. Into like, he's already been released. And he is like, I wanted Aelin to kill me. This is what, like, I wanted Celeana to happen. This is what I needed to happen. And Dorian is like, yeah, no. And then he ends up getting really upset, and he like destroys the glass castle and ends up killing the king. But he hurt because the king tells him that he killed Kaol, and that's what makes him do that. But then we do end up learning that Kaol did not die, and he's just paralyzed because his back was broken in 3 places. And so then going through in my head of the points.
And then we see now that the battle is over, we're now seeing them regroup and divide and conquer, basically, of what's going to happen. So Manon goes back to Morath to check on the other witches and the 13. And they find out that Elid is gone. And so they are obviously like, where's Elid? She's a blackleg. She said that her blood runs blue, and that's what it is. And Duke Parrington rushed back because obviously he's like, whoa, if magic is awakened, maybe Elid has, special witch blood because she's a halfling. And maybe we could, breed her with a Vogue as well. But Manon swoops in, saves the day, and they see Kaltain, and Kaltain is like fighting back, the magical fire that the hellfire that she's been holding inside of her. And she gets a knife and she carves out the word stone, the black stone, in her arm, gives it to Elid and says, take this to Celeana Sardathian. This will be the key to open up the door. And so they end up taking it, and Manon and Elid escape right before Kaltain basically erupts into fire and blows all of Morath down. We find out later that Duke Parrington and his little underling has survived and are planning on fighting. But as for the main characters, Lorcan is off and away looking for other word keys and stones. And he is in agreement with Rowan about that Maeve should not have the word keys. Supposedly. That's the cover story, supposedly. But now Manon and Elid are going to Terrasen to obviously take the word key back. And then Aelin, Rowan, Adian, I think just those 3, they are all going to Terrasen to figure out, how to take back a kingdom and things like that.
Yep.
And then Nezrin and Kaol are sent to the Southern Kingdom through the desert to attempt to make contact and to like get allies.
Yeah. And also there's healers there to help with Kaol's back.
Yes, because they have the best healers, and so they want to send Kaol there to really help him, like, you know, be really like rehabilitated, and hopefully he could be able to possibly walk again.
Yeah.
We also see that Lysandra has taken her ward Evangeline to this little cottage that Aelin gave to them, which was like one of the inheritance cottages. And Fleetfoot is there. We finally see Fleetfoot after like what, I don't know, 4.5 fucking books, because supposedly she loves the dog so much. Regardless, my feelings are, you know, I have my own feelings about the dog. It's not her dog. It's just not. It's not her dog anymore. I don't care. It's not her dog.
Yeah.
It's not her dog. That's how I feel about it. Fleetfoot is no longer her dog. Her Fleetfoot by the end of this book is definitely Evangeline's dog. Let's call it like it is.
Yeah.
But, you know, she's there, and then she actually, you know, drops off Evangeline and does decide, hey, I'm going to go to Terrasen with Aelin and Rowan and Adian. I think I'm going to go there. So now that's where all the team is headed off to, and that's the end of Queen of Shadows. We made it, guys. We did it all the way through.
How
did you feel about the book? Did you
They are definitely starting to get longer. And there's more characters, so there's a lot more to keep track of.
Yes.
We also do, I guess, find out that Astrid had a baby because she had the thing on her stomach.
We don't find that out until the next book, I thought.
I think it's this book.
I don't think so.
Let me look. I thought it was this one. Oh, it is this one. Chapter 20 or 63. It was right after. That sounds like, I swear to God it was this book. But yes, so we find out that Astrid has the word unclean written on her because she had a baby with a human.
Yeah. Well, she had a miscarriage too.
No, it was stillborn.
Oh, it was stillborn.
It was stillborn.
Right. Sorry.
And
it was
she just wanted to see the baby, but Manon's grandma was like, no, and then was like, how dare you? Like, you're no longer clean because you had a child with a human.
Yeah, and so like obviously that is, you know, a big contention with them, but you know, we'll see where everybody ends up in the next book.
Next book is we did the tandem read next, so I need to know what
we're not doing the tandem read for the review.
No, we're doing
because
Emperor
we think
of
that
Storms.
it would be too long. So yes, next week we are going to do Emperor of Storms. Make sure you tune in.
I'm trying to think. What did you think?
Overall, what would
I was like, hold on.
Rate the book. Give it like a 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say a 3. I feel like it's so far.
A 3.5, maybe.
I feel like Assassin's Blade has some of the highest highs we've had so far.
Yeah,
but I feel like this book introduces And I was like, this book introduced like Lysandra, who I like. I do like Lorcan.
Yes, I do like Lysandra. I like Lorcan. I like Nezrin a lot.
And so like obviously like Lysandra technically wasn't introduced to this book, but
yes,
she really makes her first appearance.
Yeah,
as a mainstay for the first time. So, and like I like what those characters bring, and I like some of the dynamics of this, but I give it a 3.
Okay, yeah, I would agree with that rating. I would give it a 3. I
like Manon. I like her journey in this one.
I do like Manon. I think Manon is the best character out of this entire series. I'm gonna stand by that. I think Manon is the best character in the entire series. My opinion, but also it's like the idea of like I do think that like this book is very, you know, long, and I think that if you really like it, then you'll really like it, and if you don't, then you don't. But also, you know, it's it's still a good book. It's still a good read. We still had fun doing it the first time. Really had fun, putting this together and just like redoing this series because, we're trying to get through the Sarah J. Maas universe because we are gearing up for the next big ACOTAR release.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you guys so much for coming and tuning in and listening to us rant about this book and have our opinions. Make sure to comment down below what you would rate this book and what you guys thought was like your favorite part, and then what you guys thought was like the worst part of this book. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, hit all of the buttons, as well as we do have a Buy Me a Coffee linked in our bio, as well as we do have a little fun button for you on Buzzsprout if you'd like to give to us there. But thank you guys so much for coming. And the last thing that we have to say to you is,
what did the void say to you?